Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. We come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, I'm busier than anybody could ever be trying to keep up with all the changes that are going on in the world. I guess I should probably tell you first who I am. My name is Opal Singleton, and I am the host of your show. Have been the host for about 7-8 years now that I think about it. And the show itself is brought to you by an organization called Million Kids. It's not 1 million, it's not a million. It's just simply millionkids.org, not .com. That's a rock band. We are millionkids.org. And we're an organization out of Riverside, and we have been operating out of Riverside since 2008. So whatever that math is, it's over 15 years now. I'm going to age myself if I say 25. Anyway, our whole mission in life, and the reason we have this show is literally to keep kids safe from predators. And that is exactly what we've been doing for many, many years. And many of you have supported us financially and with your prayers and have made all of this possible. So we're kind of a homegrown success story. And we actually work across the nation. I myself do a lot of webinar training where I train people from all over the world. In those cases, it has to do with train the trainer. I have 15 years in educating people about things like sex trafficking and social media exploitation, fighting child online sex abuse materials. And a lot of it is about sextortion and online exploitation of our children. And I'm going to be talking to you about that today because so much is going on. It makes your head spin. And for those of you that don't do what I do, you must really either let this run off your shoulders or just live in naivety, or you might be as overwhelmed as we are. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because many of us have children and grandchildren. And those of you that listen to the show regularly, and apparently that is many, you know that the whole thing that we do is about how technology is changing our lives. I've written a couple of books. One of them was called Seduce, the Grooming of America's Teenagers. Getting quite old now, and now that I think about it, but it's still very, very apropos as far as how people access, groom, and recruit our kids. So many people, for instance, if you see a kid that ends up in sextortion or sex trafficking, they think that maybe they were come along and would kidnap our kids. Doesn't happen that way. They usually use technology. Now, they may meet in person, might meet at the mall, might meet at the movies or somewhere like that, but the relationship goes online. And this can happen because of the technology that is taking place. And that's what I want to share with you today about all the technology changes that you have maybe just absorbed in the last 2 years without giving it a lot of thought. And I think it's important to step back and look at this, because what happens is pedophiles and pimps and predators, they will seduce a child in, or even an adult, online, and start that online relationship. And that's what seduced is all about. Very seldom do they come in and kidnap you. They actually get you to lower your guards because they build a relationship where you think you know them. And you go, well, no, they're okay. I know them, but what do you know about them? When I talk with parents that has a child that maybe is having some sort of scary online behavior, or is trying to meet up with someone, we talk about that idea of the grooming process. Because what will happen is that this person actually gets the victim to cooperate. They get them to send photos. They get them to want to meet up. They visualize them as someone who cares about them and is going to take care of them and tells them they're special and gets them to send those photos that get themselves in trouble. And that grooming process is very easy to do online because it's all kind of a fantasy. I'll just share with you a case that I had. It's been a long time ago now. I was thinking about this case and these people. I had a situation where a woman, very smart and prestigious woman, had a beautiful 18-year-old daughter who, single parent, but this daughter was just amazingly sharp. I mean, she was a straight A student, graduated top of her class, had full boat scholarships, and like that. And one day after I'd spoke, the mom went home and told the daughter, "Hey, I heard this lady today, and here's what she was saying." And to her surprise, the daughter came back with a passport and an airline ticket to Ireland. And mom was blown away. The discussion was taking place on Friday night, and this ticket was for Sunday morning. And the girl said, Mom, I shouldn't tell you this, but I wasn't going to tell you about it until I got there because I didn't want you to stop me. Now, Mom is saying to me, I couldn't believe it. This girl is so responsible. She's got a full boat scholarship. She's very smart. How did this happen? And more importantly, what do I do? And I told her, so what you don't do is wag your finger at her and say, over my dead body, you're not going to Ireland. If she's smart enough to raise $2,000 and get a passport, she knows how to make her way to Ireland. What has happened here is this girl has been playing Xbox with a guy for 9 months in Ireland, and he's had time to create that dream in her, that idea that, you're the only one for me, and you're so smart and you're so special. Come on over and see me. And then she has actually acted out on that. So if you're just going to jerk that away from her, you're going to have a problem. So Mom said, what do I do? And I said, I want you to have some fun with it. Don't be wagging your finger and screaming at her. Have some fun with it. Hey, if this guy's going to be my new son-in-law, what's he like? Is he tall and good looking, blonde, maybe one of those Irish guys? Or is he more like a hunk of a black haired guy that's from Italy? Or does he play sports? Does he play basketball, soccer? What kind of car does he drive? What did he specialize in school? Did he get a degree? Has he ever been married? Does he have children? Let's get to know him. And it will begin to occur to this lady who's quite smart that she really doesn't know the answers to that. Because over a 9-month period, this guy has groomed her so that she's willing to come over, raise $2,000, and meet up with him without telling the family. And that is exactly what happened. And so, where I want to talk today is about how quickly our world is changing in the world of technology and how it can be used by bad guys. Now, most of you know that I'm not against technology. I believe you need to use it wisely. I think you need to educate your children about every app that's out there and what the capability is for good and what the capability is for bad. Technology isn't bad or good. This generation is the generation that will live in a global technology transformation, unlike ever has taken place in history. And the challenge for parents and grandparents today is to be able to stay up on that and have honest conversations with your children where they can be leaders in a world without borders. I've written a second book called Societal Shift, A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls. And this will be the generation that lives in a global world without walls. They can come right into your child's bedroom. They can come into your child's bathroom if they were taking the phone with them. They can reach even your youngest children if you put them on globally connected devices. And on top of it, unless we have those conversations with our children where we have open dialogue and talk about what does this mean to you, how will our children know to protect themselves? You'll often hear me say technology is like a car. You can take it to a university and get a degree, or you can take it to a strip club and get yourself in trouble. You can use it to get yourself a degree, to better yourself, to research and understand and be very, very intelligent. or you can use it to go on a dating site, hook up with some creep, and then go out and meet up with him where you get exploited. And it is up to us as adults to begin to have those adult conversations when we put our children on adult devices that connects them to pedophiles all over the world. 4 years ago, the FBI said there was more than 500,000 pedophiles online at any given time. How do we prepare our children to understand the world we put them in? This is Opal Singleton of MillionKids.org. We're up against that break, so I will be with you. Be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, let me tell you about my favorite restaurant in Riverside, Monarch Asian Bistro. The atmosphere and decor are simply stunning. The service is great too. It's a wonderful environment for a romantic dinner or a family get-together. It's not just another Chinese restaurant. The Monarch Asian Bistro is upscale and it serves Thai food as well as unique Asian-inspired dishes that are just fabulous. My favorite is the pad see ew beef. My husband likes the orange chicken, and the Chinese chicken salad is always great. Our friends sometimes order the Emperor's Choice or Monarch steak. It is my favorite go-to place. Go ahead and give it a try. It's Monarch Bistro in Riverside, Canyon Crest Town Center next to Ralph's. They are open for lunch and dinner every day but Tuesday. Go ahead, give it a try. You're going to love it.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of MillionKids.org. I believe the four most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says, I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. We have been talking about the impact of technology on this generation and all future generations. So I've been watching all the things that are going on in the news, all the protests that are out there, all the following the Israeli war, and of course the Trump trial and the melodrama going on at the King and Queen and Kate and King Charles and their health problems. And I was thinking about this in terms of the show and the discussion we're having today. You know, we follow King Charles as if he's like living next door. You know, how's he doing? What kind of does he have? What kind of treatments is he getting? Is Kate going to be okay, even though they won't tell you what kind of situation they have? We follow these protests and who are these people that are actually protesting and how many of them are really students and are they being paid to do that? And how's that Israeli war going? And it is like a daily part of our life. The Trump thing, did somebody reveal something that's really salacious? Or is this really true? Or is this person lying? And what effect is this going to have on the presidential election? And suddenly we have all the normal concerns about our family and the health of our kids and the health of our parents and what is going on. But we have an entire layer of new information that we follow. And many of us are on various kinds of apps that keep giving you new information. A long time ago, I used to talk about the idea of having adrenaline addiction. And I even find myself with that, even though I know what it is. People that used to get into those old soap operas, do you think that kids will know what we're talking about? As the world turns, Days of Our Lives. Actually, I think that probably 80% of the TV that I see on there, Bachelor, is a adrenaline addiction kind of thing, a way of removing yourself from reality and giving you a high or a low or something to concern yourself about. And it comes in and it enters your emotion. Well, I want you to realize and think about what is happening in social media and technology, because that's accelerating that on a regular basis. I find myself, I was waiting in the doctor's office. My husband was having some tests yesterday, and yeah, they turned out okay. But, I'm sitting there playing my games and stuff like that. And I was looking at all the different ways people try to give us an adrenaline surge so that you have the highs and lows. And after the first 10 minutes, I'd seen all the news, I'd seen all the TikTok videos of dogs and cats, I'd seen most everything. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do now for a surge? And it really is interesting how so many outside forces control our emotions and literally come in, and we go up with this and down with that, and we get tense if it looks like that Trump is losing, or we get victorious if somebody comes out and says, that whole thing was a lie and this is how you prove it. And advertisers get this to a T. All day long, I get these news releases, and I'm saying to myself, that's not a news release. There's no facts in there. They're using emotional terminology to get me to open up. And then the latest one, of course, is what kind of thing does Kate Middleton really have? And I fell for that one day, and I must have gone through 6 clicks before I ever got back to the story. And I had to, give up this and say that, and they want some information, and can they track my cookies, and all of these things that are going on before I get to the story. And I made a rule to myself. I don't know if I can keep it, but I'm going to try. And that is that if they don't give me the facts, I'm not clicking on it. Screw them. If they don't tell me who died in the motorcycle wreck, I am not going to go through 9 pages of ads to find out who died. And all of this is just salacious stuff where they can charge for ads and not give you any facts. I fell for it a while back. I think I talked about it in a previous show, where they were going to tell you what William has broken his silence on what's happening with Kate. And I went through something like 8 pages, only to find out that the two of them have decided to stand in solidarity with Israel. And it had nothing to do with Kate, other than she's going to stand with him. Anyway, I felt like such an idiot falling for that. And so I reach a point is if we don't click on it and it doesn't work, they can't keep doing this. Now, for the rest of the show, I want to talk about how technologies are impacting our lives, especially from a standpoint of crime and crime solving. One of the biggest factors in this is a technology that I call mass audience live streaming. And by that, what I'm saying is gone are the days where we go on to a small group of people, maybe us old timers that are still on little groups of Facebook, and you have 45, 55 followers, and you know who they are. And you can approve them or not approve them and like that. Your children are not on that because they find that absolutely boring. So I did some research about apps and interacting with people they don't know. And it has literally gone from us, where we work in small groups of people that we normally interact with, to our kids participating in apps and chat rooms. I looked up the game of Fortnite. It has 500 Five 500 million accounts. Okay. So when your child goes on a chat room in Fortnite, they're not going to know normally who they're talking to. Roblox that you put your young kids on has 70 million active daily users, 300 million monthly active users, and 60% of Roblox users are under the age of 16 years old, and more than half are males. You start to see what I'm saying here about the different world they're living in. Let's try TikTok. TikTok's in the news everywhere these days. And yes, it is Chinese owned. And yes, they gather data on our kids. By the way, so does Facebook and Instagram gather that data on your kids. And they also gather it on Chinese kids and people around the world. So it is an interesting story to be told. TikTok has 1.2 billion users. 150 million of those users are in the US. There is no way when your child goes on TikTok, unless they go in a private mode, which nobody's going to do because they want to become influencers and become famous, they can be on there with millions of other users. 20% of TikTok users, that is 30 million TikTok users, are under the age of 17 years old. So what is their judgment like? What is the likelihood they understand who they're talking to and that they are liable to meet up with someone who thinks they're hot? The odds are certainly huge that's going to happen. American adults spend 4.43 billion minutes per day. That's an average of 82 minutes a day on TikTok. Now, before you take on TikTok, let's look at Twitter. They have 368 million active users. Reddit has 430 million, and Snapchat has 750 million active users. What I'm telling you is that you need to think about when you put your child on the line that they're going to have the ability to go into something, let's say Dodger Stadium, and interact with everyone in that stadium. And you're going to have to know that there's a certain portion of those people in that stadium that don't want good for your child and that might even take advantage of your child sexually, emotionally, financially, if you don't train your child to stand against them. So what I want you to see is the world that our kids are living in. Now, again, technology is going to happen. That means that we have to prepare our children to live in that world and to be able to evaluate the world they're in, to be able to see the massive number of peoples out there. And let's say only 1% of those TikTok users, 1% of 1.2 billion is some number too big for me to make up, but let's say 1% of them are pedophiles. How do we prepare our children to recognize it and not be tricked or exploited? My name is Opal Singleton. This show is Exploited, Crimes and Technology. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift.
and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about how fast technology is changing right before our eyes. I don't know about you, but there are days I want to just go in and shut the door. It is so nice sometimes to just take a walk outside, enjoy the flowers, look at the trees, listen to the birds, and have that simple life again. And quite frankly, I will share with you that that is one of the most important things that you can do for your child. Get your child away from technology and get them out doing other things, playing soccer, going for a hike, walking on the beach, going up into the mountains, go up to stargazing sometime, and share with your child about the bigger world out there. Your child's immersed in technology. Let's say they're 10 or 12 years old. Imagine where they're going to be by the time they're 18 or 24 or 28 or 40 when they have children. I believe that balance is one of the most important things we can teach to our children. They are going to be literally surrounded, submersed, engaged in a world without borders, a global world. This is the first generation in all of history that can reach the entire world, and the entire world can reach them. I believe that one of the things we have to do is start to talk to our kids about cognitive reasoning, about discerning what's truth. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence. Now, anything and everything can be made up. We're so fortunate for my generation and people below us, because if it was in print, it was true or somebody got fired. You could believe the integrity of what was put out there in the way of news. Those days are like, the dinosaur days now. To this generation, there will be very few ways to determine truth. We hear that when I listen, for example, to the Trump trial, and I haven't had much time to do it because I'm so busy with my work, but I look at it at Fox, I look at it at CNN, I look at it at BBC, I look at it at Epic Times. I try to understand where truth lies. But with artificial intelligence coming on, nothing will be what it looks like, or let's get that backwards. Nothing, looking at something, it won't have anything to do with the genuine article, because everything will be able to be changed. People's faces, people's voices, the way they give us information. I was looking at an article today about ChatGPT and how it now has emotions, and it had this kind of super promotion piece between a father and a son, and how wonderful it was to use ChatGPT to enhance their relationship. Well, that's a healthy way to look at ChatGPT, but you have to know for every good thing that it does, it can also be used to falsify information and falsify the truth. I say that because so much of our world security is based on what we consider to be factual information. And that is changing as artificial intelligence can change somebody's voice, they can change somebody's appearance, and they can modify written word. And so when we start to look forward, how do we prepare our kids to evaluate what is true. I'm going to tell you that it's time to get back to the basics. It's time to sit down with your kid and say, if there's ever a time in all of history, you need to be a young man or a young woman that knows your values and what you stand for and what you believe in. It is right now, immediately in history, before you become parents, and you have to do this. Because from here on out, it will be very difficult for us to be able to discern any kind of truth. So you better know who you are and what you stand for, and you better begin to say that these are my goals, these are who I am and where I'm headed, and I'm not going to take shortcuts that can compromise me. I want to talk about some other technologies that are changing our kids' lives. One of them is we're on the brink of a global digital currency. Now, our kids are the first that were able to go online and do things because they had Bitcoin in all of their games. But now it will be very, very easy for our kids to be able to negotiate financial transaction online. It will be equally easy to facilitate for organized crime, for pedophiles, for cartels, for gangs, for overseas cartels to form telemarketing centers and blackmail our kids. It's already taking place in a big way. Those of you who follow us and support our work know that one of the biggest heartbreaks I'm dealing with right now is the fact that Nigerian telemarketing companies, Mexico, Pakistan, Ivory Coast, Philippines, all of these particular groups right now, and believe me, we're just getting started. Those are just the beginning ones. As third world countries who are very poor go online, what is happening is cartels in those countries are going out and bringing in their young kids. And they will chat up our kids in video game chat rooms because that's exactly how it's done. And they're called chatters for what it's worth. Now, many of these kids we're beginning to realize now are not there willingly in those telemarketing centers. There was a group down in Mexico about 3 months ago. 8 kids tried to resign because it was a timeshare scam where they were scamming elderly people in the U.S. into sending them thousands of dollars to get out of their timeshare. The kids wanted to quit. They're saying, we're being used for a scam. We don't want to do it. And the cartel murdered all 8 kids. So that has brought me to the idea that in some of these countries, these kids are not there willingly. But think about the number of third world countries that are starting to duplicate this model as a way of getting access to U.S. dollars by violating our kids. They put their kids online. They look like some hot 14-year-old. Our kids fall for it, and the blackmail begins. Once they have a photo of our children, it goes over to the goons who then take them on. And these kids end up, our kids are perfectly amazing, qualified, special, high-achieving kids end up so embarrassed, so frustrated, so panicky, they take their own lives. We got to start having those conversations with kids now, right now, that they go online. If anybody wants a photo, they are not your friend. I don't care how hot they are, what they promise you, that they're going to love you. If they want your photo, they are not your friend. Get off the device immediately, go completely to a different app, shut the device down, and report that kind of thing if that's happening. Because once you're in there, these guys are ruthless. One kid literally had over 1,000 texts in 24 hours, and he ended up taking his life. That is so sad and so unnecessary. Start today to follow millionkids.org. We post these cases so that you can have the dialogue with your kids. Or you can write to me at Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org, and I'll send you a bunch of these. But very simply, go onto YouTube and put in sextortion, sex and extortion, a word put together without the E, sextortion, and teen suicide. and look at those cases, and you will see this is happening. So up until the last couple of years, we didn't have global digital currency. Yes, our kids played with Bitcoin and like that, but this is going to create an easy payment method for criminals all over the world to blackmail the elderly, to blackmail executives, to blackmail our kids in sextortion and romance scams and timeshare scams. And we need to understand how these work so we don't fall prey for it. Our kids are naturally prone to using currency online because most of these gaming platforms have been monetized. You know, they get all kinds of coupons and coins and rewards in there for keep playing. And so that makes it easy for our kids to fall prey because they want more coins. They want to win. They want options. They want to have the most, chits kind of thing out there. And that's exactly how all of it begins. So I think it's really, really important to talk to our kids. But first, you have to understand it. And that is our role in sharing with you today, not to get you to panic, but to give you that challenge so that you're a well-informed parent and can teach your kids. This is Opal Singleton. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced: The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. We are talking about the impact of technology on crime and crime solving and also on our day-to-day lives. This is the last 2 years when you start to hear all the things about artificial intelligence and geolocation software and digital currency and all of these things, most parents and often your grandparents just go, "This is all beyond me." Well, it may be beyond you, but the idea of preparing our kids to live in that world is not beyond you. And it doesn't have to be a thou shall not, and wagging your finger and like that. It needs to be open discussion, looking at cases where kids get violated and say, I know that you're smart and I know that you would never do this, but I also know that you're going to be a leader for the next generation. So share with me how this works. And how can we keep your younger brothers and sisters safe when they are allowed to have a device? One of the things that have come out in the last 2 or 3 years, on the one hand, I love it. On the other hand, it's really scary when you think about it. And that is geolocation software. Now, everybody wants to know if they can have where you're transmitting from, and can they have your location on there? And think about what is happening. They know exactly where you're at. They know if you're in the drive-through at Carl's Jr., or if you've stopped at the liquor store out there, or maybe the adult bookstore. Hello, they're going to start to feed you a lot of that kind of thing. I love geolocation software because when I'm out there, I don't know where to go. So I go onto Waze and it tells me not only where I'm at and where I'm going, but the fastest way to get there. And also where the cops are hanging out. Okay, so slow down. But the real challenge with geolocation software for our kids is that it's on most of these dating sites and hookup sites that our kids are on. So think about how that works. I had a case, a couple, 3 years ago, actually a couple of years ago, not that long ago. And, a young man wanted to explore alternative lifestyles, but he didn't want to tell his folks because he thought they'd just go ballistic. So he went on the dating site Grindr. And Grindr has geolocation. Well, it gives you the person that's only 4 miles down the street. Hey, you don't have to talk to your folks. I'll mentor you. I don't live far away. Let's hook up and get acquainted. And it goes exactly like that. And so it is important for you to have that discussion. I always say for parents, get a contract with your child. And the number one thing on there is whatever apps you have, I'm going to have. And you're going to teach me how these work, period. And by the way, if I ever see a calculator in the front of your phone, I'm going to ask you for the password. And if you don't give it to me, I'll keep your phone till you do. What happens is those are called vault apps, and they hide the other apps the kids don't want you to know. A large number of kids have apps that their parents are not even aware of. And it's not uncommon. You may be monitoring them on Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, but it's not uncommon for them to go back and forth between dating sites and apps and things like that. By the way, that is a huge indicator that you're talking to a bad guy, is if they move you. If you meet on one of those dating sites and they say, "Hey, you're not far away. Let's go over to Snapchat and we'll send some photos." They will move you to determine if you are willing to follow them and if you're an undercover officer. So I just realized I was talking about this contract you get with your children. Number one, the first thing you do is get a code word between you, because with artificial intelligence coming on, you won't know if that's really your child. And they can modify the looks of your child and the voice of your child and may try to extort you. So get a code word between you. Then get a contract between you that says, number one, I'm going to have every app you have, and you're going to show me how to use it. Number two, you are going to do your best, and every one of us makes mistakes, but you're going to do your best to never put anything online that will embarrass you or your family or anybody around you. Number three, you will never, ever go out and meet up with someone you met online. It is amazing the number of kids that just want to see what this guy's like, and they will go out and meet up with him. By the way, I was talking about you'll never ever put anything online that would embarrass you. The UK just recently came out with statistics out of the UK that says 1 out of 5 males has sent a nude photo to an adult they don't know, and 1 out of 6 females has done that. All of those are ways to get you in trouble. So they don't go out and meet up, they don't post anything, but the biggest one of all is this world is a fast changing world, and every one of us is going to make a mistake. And that doesn't mean I'm going to grab your phone and take it from you. I hope that if you get yourself in trouble, you will trust me enough to come to me so that we can resolve it together. This is the most exciting and terrifying generation of kids that have ever had to face something like this. And it's going to take every one of us. And reiterate with your child that you want them to be a leader. You know, this stuff is changing very fast. Maybe they can keep you educated on it. But if they get themselves in trouble, they won't panic. They won't take their life. They won't try to meet up with someone. They won't send them more photos. They won't send them thousands of dollars because there will never be enough to make them happy. But they will come to you and you will help them understand the right path to take. By the way, parents, if your child is talking to a predator, do not go online and say, you lousy blah, 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 leave my kid alone. What you do is simply shut down first you screenshot everything so that you have evidence. And then you shut off the devices and remove your child when that predator's reach. If your child has to be online, they need to change their user profile so that it's harder for them to reach. But remember, these guys have multiple personalities, multiple emails or apps that they use, and they will find a way to come back to your child. It is important to take all of that information quietly and quickly, go to law enforcement, cyber crimes, and report them. Your child is not their only victim, but it is an opportunity for you and your child to be able to report it to cyber crimes and let them stand in your child's place and begin to identify who they are and where they're at and what they're doing. This is a totally changing world that is out there. It is scary, but it is also exciting, and I believe it is the greatest ministry of all time for parents and grandparents and faith-based leaders. It is up to us to teach our children to grow up with values, to be able to stand for truth and work on discerning the truth, and understanding how to use technology in a way that glorifies God and honors themselves and others. They can be the leaders for the next generation. But we need that open dialogue, and we need an understanding of what is going on out there and how to be able to go about protecting ourselves. Finally, I would just say to you that the 4 most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. We do sell challenge coins that say I believe in you. It's probably a little late for a graduation gift, but we can get them out to you. They're $20 or $25 a piece, depending on the gift box or not. But the reason I say that is that your kids need to know above everything else out there that you believe in them. Even if they get themselves in trouble online, even if this thing backfires on them, you are going to be there for them, you love them, and you're going to stay there, and you're going to help them walk through it. This is an exciting time, but it is also one of the most concerning times out there. This is no time for child's play. We got to buckle down, make up our minds. Parenting in this generation is one of the greatest challenges of all time. But I believe you're up to it. And that is why I do this show, so that we can equip you. I hope you'll follow us at millionkids.org, get our newsletter, sign up for our insider alerts. Those are little videos that I do to educate you If you really want to know a lot, I'm on Facebook at Me and Kids Supporters. Doesn't mean you have to send us money, but you can if you like our work. We'd appreciate it. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you. It is a beautiful spring. Get outside, look around, enjoy the trees. Take your kids with you. Throw some baseballs, play some golf. Do something to get yourself away from technology. And put your arms around your family, your husband, your wife, your kids, and let them know you believe in them, you love them, you're there for them, and that together you can take this on. I'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.